Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. So today is Martin Luther King Day, and I kind of grappled with whether or not I wanted to make a video. Um, because as you guys know, I have a lot of feelings about integration and a lot of the tactics that were used, a lot of the nonviolent tactics that were used during the civil rights movement. But that's just because, I'm sitting here in 2017 and hindsight is 2020. And even towards the end of his life, Martin Luther King started having a lot of second thoughts about, things that they were doing. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to make a video, but I decided to make this video. It's going to be very, very short. And the reason why I decided to make this video was because I wanted to read some excerpts from Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from Birmingham jail, which is also known as The Negro is Your Brother. It's an open letter that was written on April 16th, 1963. So it was written actually a few months before Martin Luther King Jr. gave his very famous I Have a Dream speech. And in Letter from a Birmingham Jail, he actually talks a lot about white moderates and about, a lot of people that I would say that we would nowadays call like white allies and people that feel like I did not individually do anything, wrong to anyone. So why do I have to, do anything to fight racism, or, the people that criticize Colin Kaepernick? Oh, I can get down with what you're doing, but I can't get down with the way that you're doing it. And, you're disrespecting patriots and blah, blah, blah. So it's funny that we are taught the I Have a Dream speech. I have this dream that we're all gonna like stand together on the mountaintop, like regardless of color. And people use these words to like shove them down your throat to get you to like shut up when you're talking about injustice, which is really disgusting, the way that Martin Luther King Jr. has kind of been turned into this cartoon caricature of, what white people feel like, nonviolent resistance is supposed to look like. And even though the letter from a Birmingham jail is famous in terms of, it's famous for people that know, but this is not something that we are taught in school. These words, these are not words that we have conversations about. They've turned Martin Luther King Jr. into a Disney, a figure that just dreamed that we would all live together in harmony at the end. So I want to read this. I want to read excerpts of this to you. So for anyone that has not heard these words or read these words, I want you guys to actually hear the words, okay? Letter from Birmingham jail. I must confess that over the past few years, I have been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in his stride toward freedom is not the white citizens' counselor or the Ku Klux Klaner, but the white moderate, who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice, who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with your methods of direct action. Colin Kaepernick, prime example. And these are words from 1963 that are still relevant today. Who paternalistically believes he can set the timetable for another man's freedom, aka all the people that say, well, why can't you just wait? Why can't you just wait? Just wait. Just wait a little while longer. It's not so bad. Why can't you just wait? Why do you have to do this right now? Why do you have to block the highway right now at this moment? I don't understand. Who paternalistically believes he can set the timetable for another man's freedom, who lives by a mythical concept of time and who constantly advises the Negro to wait for a more convenient season. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. AKA, it's better for me if you're just going to hate me outright to my face. Just hate me outright to my face and admit that you're a racist. You have people that defend racism, but they like go through these mental gymnastics and jump through these hoops to say, but I'm not a racist. I don't hate you. They have a shallow understanding, right? Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection. I had hoped that the white moderate would understand that law and order exist for the purpose of establishing justice, and that when they fail in this purpose, they become the dangerously structured dams that block the flow of social progress. So this is for all the people that are like, well, justice has been served. How can you be mad that, people decided, that no one killed Freddie Gray, even though his death was ruled a homicide? How can you be mad that it was decided that no one killed Eric Garner? It was decided in a court of law. Like, just, deal with it, move on. They don't want to admit that when they fail in this purpose, when they fail in the purpose of upholding law and order, they become the dangerously structured dams that block the flow of social progress. I had hoped that the white moderate would understand that the present tension in the South is a necessary phase of the transition from an obvious negative peace in which the Negro passively accepted his unjust plight. We who engage in nonviolent direct action are not the creators of tension. We merely bring to surface the hidden tension that is already alive. We bring it out into the open where it can be seen and dealt with. So this is for all the people that are like, talking about race makes you the real racist. If you just stop talking about race, it'll just all go away. Like, no, the tension is already there. The racism is already there. It has been there. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote these words in 1963, okay? Like, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. This has been ongoing. It has been continuing on and on and on. Like a boil that can never be cured so long as it is covered up, but must be opened with all its ugliness to the natural medicines of air and light. Injustice must be exposed with all the tension its exposure creates to the light of human conscience and the air of national opinion before it can be cured. Now, I'm going to actually also read you guys some excerpts from an article that will be posted, of course, in the description box. Just going to read you guys a little bit of this, and then I'm going to read you guys some tweets, and then I'm going to go ahead and close this one out because I feel like this is very self-explanatory stuff right here, right? Reprise. White moderates make matters worse. Society is, from its very roots, unjust. Racism is structural. Moderates propagate racism by pretending that racism is individual, which is exactly what I said in my Yes All White People. White people, in my Yes All White People video, white people love to pretend that they're individuals, that they're these intense individuals, which is also very much an American thing, right? American exceptionalism and manifest destiny and individualism, and I am an individual and I am my own person and I'm an American, and anyone in America can do and be whatever they want. And you can't tell me that I'm part of a group, a collective, as a white person that collectively, systemically, structurally oppresses people because I'm not individually doing anything. So you can't tell me that. You can't tell me that. I'm an individual. I'm a special snowflake. You can't tell me that I'm part of a group. And this also comes from white people being seen as the norm, as a standard, as not being seen as part of a collective. Like, we are Black people. We are part of a collective as Black people. Just like Mark Lamont Hill said, I can call Trinidad James a nigga, I can call him my nigga, he can call me that, because we are in the shared experience that is nigger in this country. We are part of a collective. When people look at us, they see us as part of a group, right? We are Black people, right? And that is something that we go through from the time we are born, and we are born in these bodies, and we have, our Blackness, right? White people don't do that because white is not even seen as like a race. White is not seen as a group. It is seen as the norm, as the standard, as not something that they ever have to think about. They don't ever have to think, oh, I'm walking into this store. Is somebody going to follow me around because I'm white, because I'm a white person? That's something that we have to think about, right? Oh, I'm getting pulled over by a police officer. Is this going to go bad for me because I'm a white person? Because I am a part of this collective that is whiteness. They don't have to think about that, right? They feel this extreme, intense individualism, which is also why it's so hard for them to understand when you say, no, you are part of a collective that has been brainwashing you since the minute you were born into this society to be a white supremacist. And unless you are actively unlearning that, then you are a racist, right? Yes, all white people. Society is, from its very roots, unjust. Racism is structural. Moderates propagate racism by pretending that racism is individual and thus that they do not have to actively act against it. Liberals act as though they can simply be not racist is in quotes, arguing that it is somehow tenable to be moderate and neutral in a radically unjust society. But you can't be neutral on a moving train, as historian Howard Zinn reminds us. The fact of the matter is, you are either actively anti-racist or you passively propagate the racist system that we live in. In short, what MLK and others are arguing is that we do not need white moderates. We need white anti-racist activists who actively challenge the structures and systems of oppression around them. Just like I said in my How to Be a White Ally Don't video, worry about you and your people. And like all the stuff y'all have going on over there in Whitelandia, because y'all have a lot going on. People who want to make something new, something better from the roots up, and who stand in solidarity with people of color who struggle against the structures and systems that oppress them. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., one of the most important, greatest thinkers of the 20th century, was anti-capitalist, anti-war, and anti-imperialist. He recognized that all forms of oppression are related, that one cannot end any form of oppression unless one's struggle is intersectional. They don't teach you this in high school history classes because it might inspire a new generation of activists to follow in his example, because it challenges the very system that people in power benefit from. MLK was illegally monitored by the U.S. government in the COINTELPRO program. He was marginalized from the mainstream civil rights movement, which was moderate and liberal, when he came out against the genocidal Vietnam War, and he was murdered when he began challenging the economic system responsible for the exploitation of the vast majority of the population, when he created the Poor People's Campaign. Because as Martin Luther King Jr. headed towards the end of his life and the end of the civil rights movement as we know it, he became vastly more radical. He started to change, and a lot of people didn't like that. Even though people talk all this stuff about like Martin Luther King, and we love Martin Luther King so much. But I'm gonna go ahead and look up right now what his approval rating was while he was alive. You know, they like that just said, they had COINTELPRO following him. The FBI was listening in on his phone conversations. You know, the public opinion was that he was a communist, that he was a radical. You know, in 1963, King had a 41% positive and a 37% negative rating. In 1964, it was 43% positive and 39% negative. In 1965, it was 45% positive and 45% negative. And in 1966, it was 32% positive and 63% negative. So 63% of the public, the white American public, had a negative idea of Martin Luther King Jr. while he was alive. He became revered after death because, again, they were able to cartoonize him into this figure that says, shut up, black people, just hold hands with white people and extend this hand in love, and hate can't drive out hate, only love can do that, and love your enemy, love. Like, Martin Luther King was hated. People hated him. They hated him so much they killed him. They shot him in the throat, right? And he was vocally against white moderates, against, you know, these very same people that now pull his words out of their assholes to try to silence us, which is disgusting. You people are disgusting. You're sick. You're sick. Like, straight up. So some tweets I want to read before I go. Now, these are some old tweets from when the whole Kaepernick thing was really, really going on. So I just wanted to say, I quoted Russell Simmons, who said, protest never comes at the hour of convenience, and if it did, it wouldn't be protest. I said, ding, 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 white liberal racists. How can these white moderates even fix their fucking mouths to say it's not the right time? What does that even mean? When is it the right time to protest for equality? I mean, what does that mean in their minds when they're saying it? Same as the folks that get mad when we block the highways. Okay, I get why you're protesting, but people have to get to work. It's not the right place. Protest is disruption. In the words of Jesse Williams, we will disrupt their function. The tension is already there. We're bringing the tension to light. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, it is a festering sore that you have to rip open and expose, right? the kids are going to learn about I have a dream, probably not today because there's no school today because Martin Luther King Jr. Day is a federally recognized holiday, but tomorrow and all this week and probably also last week, the kids are going to learn about I have a dream and everybody's going to be equal and we're all equal now and we had a black president, But like read your children also, if you have children, if you have younger sisters, brother, whatever, or yourself. Letter from a Birmingham jail. Read it in its entirety. I only read excerpts of it. He also says some stuff about the church, how he's been let down by the church. Read that. I will include links in the description box to the document in its entirety so you can read that. The excerpt that I read was from a piece by Ben Norton that will also be in the description box. So just check out the links in the description box. I will have links on his approval ratings when he was alive, all these things that they suppress that they don't want us to know. So on this day, recognize him for the man that he was, not the cartoon character that they want you to see and believe, right? Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.